ഓഡിയോ ഒക്കെ ആണല്ലോ. ഹലോ, ഓഡിയോ ഓക്കെ അല്ലേ? ഞാൻ പറയുന്നത് കേൾക്കുന്നില്ലായിരുന്നോ? ഒന്ന് ഓഡിയോ ഒന്ന് മൈക്ക് ഓൺ ആക്കിയിട്ട് എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒന്ന് പറയാം. അല്ല, ഒന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് ഇങ്ങോട്ടൊന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ്.
Sir, it's audible?
Audible, okay.
Audible?
Audible.
ഞാൻ ആദ്യമായി കോളേജിൽ പോകുമ്പോൾ ഭാവിയെക്കുറിച്ചുള്ള ആശങ്ക പലതായിരുന്നു. എന്നാൽ സുന്ദരമായ ആ ക്യാമ്പസിലേക്ക് കയറി ചെല്ലുമ്പോൾ ഒരു ആത്മവിശ്വാസം എനിക്ക് ലഭിച്ചു. നല്ല സുഹൃത്തുക്കൾ, സംശയമകറ്റി വെളിച്ചം പകർന്നു തന്ന അധ്യാപകർ, പുതിയ ആശയങ്ങൾ നൽകിയ ലൈബ്രറി, ഏകാഗ്രതയും നല്ല ഓർമ്മകളും നൽകിയ ക്ലാസ് റൂമുകൾ, ഡിജിറ്റൽ ലോകത്തേക്ക് പറക്കാൻ പഠിപ്പിച്ച കമ്പ്യൂട്ടർ ലാബ്. അങ്ങനെ MES കോളേജ് എന്നെ ഉയരങ്ങളിലേക്ക് സ്വപ്നം കാണുവാൻ പഠിപ്പിച്ചു. ഇന്ന് ഞാൻ വളരെ ഹാപ്പിയാണ്. സ്വപ്നങ്ങളെ പിന്നിലാക്കി ഉയരങ്ങളിലേക്ക് ഞാൻ പറന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നു. യു ഹാവ് ടു ഡ്രീം ബിഫോർ യുവർ ഡ്രീംസ് ക്യാൻ കം ട്രൂ.
MES College Erumely, proposed PO Erumely, Kottayam, unaided arts and science college under the Muslim Educational Society, approved by Government of Kerala and affiliated to the Mahatma Gandhi University.
ഞാൻ ആദ്യമായി കോളേജിൽ പോകുമ്പോൾ ഭാവിയെക്കുറിച്ചുള്ള ആശങ്ക പലതായിരുന്നു. എന്നാൽ സുന്ദരമായ ആ ക്യാമ്പസിലേക്ക് കയറി ചെല്ലുമ്പോൾ ഒരു ആത്മവിശ്വാസം എനിക്ക് ലഭിച്ചു. നല്ല സുഹൃത്തുക്കൾ, സംശയമകറ്റി വെളിച്ചം പകർന്നു തന്ന അധ്യാപകർ, പുതിയ ആശയങ്ങൾ നൽകിയ ലൈബ്രറി, ഏകാഗ്രതയും നല്ല ഓർമ്മകളും നൽകിയ ക്ലാസ് റൂമുകൾ, ഡിജിറ്റൽ ലോകത്തേക്ക് പറക്കാൻ പഠിപ്പിച്ച കമ്പ്യൂട്ടർ ലാബ്. അങ്ങനെ MES കോളേജ് എന്നെ ഉയരങ്ങളിലേക്ക് സ്വപ്നം കാണുവാൻ പഠിപ്പിച്ചു. ഇന്ന് ഞാൻ വളരെ ഹാപ്പിയാണ്. സ്വപ്നങ്ങളെ പിന്നിലാക്കി ഉയരങ്ങളിലേക്ക് ഞാൻ പറന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നു. യു ഹാവ് ടു ഡ്രീം ബിഫോർ യുവർ ഡ്രീംസ് ക്യാൻ കം ട്രൂ.
MES College Erumely, proposed PO Erumely, Kottayam, unaided arts and science college under the Muslim Educational Society, approved by Government of Kerala and affiliated to the Mahatma Gandhi University.
Good afternoon to all. Welcome all to the webinar Human Rights a 2020. Really, human rights include the right to life and liberty, freedom from torture, freedom of expression, opinion, etc. Or also right to education, right to work, like that. All of us are entitled to all these rights without any discrimination. For this webinar, we have here with us Dr. Jaisy Kaingattil, Professor of Jaisy College of Legal Thought, Principal of MES College Erumely, Mrs. Ramadevi A, Vice Principal and Accuracy Coordinator, Mr. Jitesh K.S, Vice Principal of Academics, Mrs. Betty Joseph, HOD of Computer Science Department, Mr. Hari G, Mrs. Asha Jason, Mrs. Anita Matthew, Assistant Professors of Computer Science Department, Mr. Sabja Yusuf, IT Cell Director, and above all, participants from all over our country. Let's start the program by a silent prayer.
ആലം ദയാലുവായി ദാക്ഷിണ്യശാലിയായി വാഴുന്നോരീശ്വരൻ തിരുനാമത്തിൽ നിഖില ലോകങ്ങൾക്കുമേകരക്ഷകനാകും അഖിലേശ്വരനല്ലയോ സകല സ്തുതിയും. അഖിലേശ്വരനല്ലയോ സകല സ്തുതിയും. പരമകാരുണ്യവാൻ കരുണാനിധിയേ, വിധി പറയും ദിവസത്തിനേകാധിപനേ, നിയതമാരാധിപ്പൂ ഞങ്ങളങ്ങയെ മാത്രം സതതം സഹായമായി തീർപ്പതും തിരുമുമ്പിൽ നയിക്കണം ഞങ്ങളെ നേരായ മാർഗത്തിൽ. നിന്നനുഗ്രഹപാത്രമായോർ തന്മാർഗത്തിൽ അങ്ങയാൽ കോപിക്കപ്പെട്ടോരുടെ വഴിയല്ല, സന്മാർഗഭ്രഷ്ടർത്തൻ വഴിയിലുമല്ല. ആലം ദയാലുവായി ദാക്ഷിണ്യശാലിയായി വാഴുന്നോരീശ്വരൻ തിരുനാമത്തിൽ നിഖില ലോകങ്ങൾക്കുമേകരക്ഷകനാകും അഖിലേശ്വരനല്ലയോ സകല സ്തുതിയും.
May I request Mrs. Betty Joseph, Head of the Department of Computer Science, for a formal welcome. Over to you, madam.
കേൾക്കത്തില്ല ശിവ. ശിവ എന്നാ
May I request Mrs. Betty Joseph, Head of the Department of Computer Science, for a formal welcome. Over to you, madam.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you all here for today's webinar. I am Betty Joseph, Faculty of Computer Science Department at MES College Erumely, and today I am bestowed with the duty to welcome you all to this session. First, I would like to welcome our speaker, Dr. Jaisy Kaingattil, Assistant Professor of CSI College for Legal Studies, Kanakari, Kottayam. I truly appreciate your time and effort for us. Welcome, ma'am. Welcome to this webinar. Next, I would like to heartily welcome our principal, Mr. Mahi Naman, sir, the backbone of our college. Sir, welcome to this webinar. Next, I would like to welcome our Vice Principal and IQSP Coordinator, Mrs. Rema Devi, ma'am, to this webinar. Welcome, Rema Devi, madam. Also, would like to welcome Mr. Jidesh K.S., Vice Principal Academics. Welcome, Jidesh, to this webinar. Last but not the least, I welcome all the attendees, which include teachers, students, and all the participants to this webinar. I am very pleased that all of you joined us to be a part of this session. Hope you will find this webinar useful. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. On behalf of Computer Science Department and QC of MES College Erumely, I cordially invite Mrs. Prakriti A, Vice Principal and IQS Coordinator, for the presidential address. Over to you, ma'am.
Teacher mute mic. Teacher mic on akan daw yung mic.
it audible now?
Yes, yes.
Sorry. Good afternoon, all. As the IQAC coordinator, I am happy that we are conducting a lot of programs in our college. Even in these hard times, IQAC, in association with various departments, forums, and clubs of our college, has been organizing various programs. Today, IQAC, in association with Department of Computer Science, is organizing a webinar on human rights at 2020 perspective. Human rights is much discussed topic of today. It is a challenging issue, especially in many third world countries. Its boundaries still remain to be decided. A lot of violence, unrest are some of the natural consequences of human rights violation. Our younger generation needs to be aware of different parameters of human rights. The computer science department has done a good job in conducting a webinar on such a topic. Only a qualified and expert faculty can conduct a seminar on this complicated topic. A good knowledge of our constitution is a must for conducting this webinar. Fortunately, we got such a person, and I am sure this will be a fruitful session. Have a wonderful session. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, madam, for your words. May I request our beloved principal, Ryan Emensa, who is the man behind all these programs, for the inauguration and inaugural address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon, all. I am happy to present with you in connection with the webinar based on topic human rights 2020 perspective conducted by IQAC and the Department of Computer Science of our college. We have already conducted so many international and national level seminars on different topics during the period of COVID-19, and I feel proud to say that our college is ready to cooperate with the UGC in its efforts to overcome the challenges in the field of higher education. I wish all success for the webinar and congratulate the organizers, Department of Computer Science, Mrs. Rama Devi Madam, Vice Principal and Coordinator IQAC, and Mr. D.S., Vice Principal Academics, and Mr. Shiva, subjects back like this, and all the staff members of the Department of Computer Science, and also to our professor speaker, Dr. Jaisy Kaingattil, Assistant Professor, CSC School of Studies, for arranging the class for the webinar. And also, I am also happy to hear the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I request Mr. Jitesh K. Vice Principal of Academics and Training, for the keynote address. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible?
Sir.
Good afternoon to all. It's a great pleasure to address the gathering of the personalities who are very interested in this topic of human rights. As we know, the present situation, the world is suffering from the COVID-19, it's a pandemic situation. This COVID-19, we lost so many freedoms. There's a freedom of gathering, freedom of traveling. So everyone loses our freedoms. So our constitution ensures various rights and duties. So this is a time to rethink what are the freedoms available on these situations. So I appreciate the idea behind to select this topic. That I appreciate the team behind on this webinar. the best way to reach a good civilization must be followed by good rules, good laws. But the good laws, implementation of laws may be lose some freedoms. So, given a awareness program, given education about rights is very necessary. So this time is utilized for giving awareness to the students and also the participants on this webinar. I wish all the success for this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your words. May I request Mr. Harry J., Assistant Professor of Computer Science Department, for introducing the chief guest to all of us present here. Over to you, sir.
Good evening to all. The human rights is one of the fundamental seeds of our democracy. But unfortunately, this component is always violated. This is a very complicated subject which includes a lot of parameters. And a very efficient person must handle such a topic. Fortunately, we got a very eminent person in Dr. Jaisy Kaingattil. She is a trained lawyer and her span of expertise varies from family law, business law, IPL, and so on. And also, at the moment, she is an assistant professor in CSI School of Legal Studies. Her previous workplace includes Pandalam NSS College, where she worked as an assistant professor. Also, she worked as a guest lecturer in Media Village. She has a lot of experience in women's forums like YWCA, and she regularly conducts seminars, workshops, not only in India, but also in abroad. She has a tremendous and excellent academic career. She has got PhD in law. Also, she carries an LLM in IPR, and it is. And I would like to mention that she got first rank in her LLB in MG University exam. And I think this is enough of her introduction. And I call and I cordially invite Dr. Jaisy Madam to disseminate her valuable information to all the participants. Have a nice and good session.
Thank you, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, madam. Yeah, madam.
Good afternoon to one and all. Dear and respected Principal Sir, then respected Jidhesh Sir, Vice Principal Academic, and IQSC Coordinator Rema Devi, respected Harry Sir, Asha Jason, Anita Matthew, and Betty Joseph, HOD Department of Computer Science. Then all of you presented, the participants of the webinar. I am happy to be with you all for the webinar on Human Rights 2020 perspective. I appreciate the organizers, especially the Department of Computer Science of MES College Erumely, for selecting a relevant topic for the discussion. As we all know, 2020 is a landmark of COVID-19 pandemic. The world is still facing lockdown issues and looking for the effective vaccination. In this zero-year situation, there are a lot of human rights issues faced by common people, especially by the marginalized group. Then coming to the topic, human rights, a 2020 perspective. The aim of this session is to give an awareness about the human rights. That all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. It is declared in Article 1 of Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So it is the basis of the human right that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. Coming to the 2020, the theme, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and the UN declared the theme for 2020 is Recover Better, Stand Up for Human Rights. Recover Better, Stand Up for Human Rights is the theme of this year. Then this related to the theme of COVID-19 pandemic and focuses on the need to build back a better by ensuring human rights efforts. Then what are human rights? We all heard about human rights. These human rights that allow people to live with dignity, freedom, equality, justice, and peace. So the words, you know, the dignity, right to life, freedom, equality, and justice. And these are the standards that allow people to live. And these are the rights commonly known as human rights. Then every person has these rights because they are human beings. So human beings have these rights. So it is termed as human rights. Then these rights are guaranteed to every person without any discrimination. So beyond the discriminations, no person shall be discriminated on the basis of caste, gender, or place of birth, or any type of discrimination. So without any discrimination, these rights are guaranteed. So it is essential for the development of communities, development of individuals. So human rights are very essential for the development of society and for the development of human beings. Then coming to the definition of human rights. Then the Protection of Human Rights Act 1993 defines human right as, in the section 2 clause 1D, subclause D, defines that human right means the right relating to life, liberty, equality, and dignity of the individual guaranteed by the Constitution or embodied in the international covenants and enforceable by courts in law. So this Protection of Human Rights Act 1993, it is amended in 2006, and this act is established for the purpose of establishing national human rights commission and also state human rights commissions and also human rights courts. To establish these human rights courts and commissions, the Protection of Human Rights Act 1993 is established. And this document or this act describes human rights as the rights relating to life of people, right to life, liberty, equality, and dignity of the individual. And these rights are guaranteed in our Constitution also. And embodied, then these rights are embodied in the international covenants, and these rights can be enforced in any court in India. But these rights can be enforceable in a court of law. This right is guaranteed in the Constitution of India. Then the Constitution, the preamble, then the fundamental rights, and part 4, the directive principles and fundamental duties, all these enshrine the values of human rights. So all these are included in the fundamental rights of the Constitution of India. So the human rights are those rights relating to life, liberty, equality, and dignity of the individual guaranteed to the Constitution and embodied. These rights are also included in the international covenants and these rights can be enforceable in the court of India. Then these rights include civil rights, political rights, then right to life, freedom, communication, equality before law, and equal protection of law. Then economic rights such as right to work, right to get normal standard of living standard, then right to education, right to work, right to food. All these are included in the human rights. Then in Universal Declaration of Human Rights, 1948, it defines human right as a right derived from the inherent dignity of human person. So it is a right derived from the dignity of human person. The dignity of the human person should be protected. How the dignity is protected? By getting liberty, by getting freedom, by getting equality, and the right to life. All these are interconnected and interrelated, and these rights derived from the dignity of human beings. Then the international documents related to human rights. The first important document related to human rights is the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Then it's a milestone in the history of human rights, establishment of Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And it is, declaration was proclaimed by the United Nations General Assembly in Paris on 10th December 1948 as a common standard of achievements for all people and all nations. So this is a milestone document of the history of human rights. So Universal Declaration of Human Rights is declared it describes about 30 articles. 30 articles describes the human right of people. Established different types of rights are included and duties are included, and the preamble of the Constitution, preamble of the Universal Declaration of the Human Rights also describes the protection of human rights. Then it set out the first time the fundamental human right to be universally protected, and it has been translated over 500 languages. ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ ലാംഗ്വേജസിൽ ട്രാൻസ്ലേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത ഒരു ഡോക്യുമെന്റ് ആണ് Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So it's a fundamental human right to be universally protected, and it should be set out in an international document, that is Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So it marked as an important to all human beings are free and equal regardless of color, creed, and religion. It emphasizes that no discrimination on the basis of caste or color or any place of birth or any other status or profession. It is immaterial. So it describes the protection of human rights, and it established included in 30 articles. Then these the rights conferred on the human rights are right to equality and freedom from discrimination. Then equality, right to be equally protected. No person shall be discriminated on the basis of gender. So equality between men and women, equality between all the people. There is no discrimination. Then right to life, liberty, and personal security. All these are included in our constitution also. Then freedom from torture. Then right to equality before law. In our constitution, Article 14 especially states that equality before law and equal protection of law. So all are equal in law, that is equality before law. Then right to a fair trial, right to privacy. Right to privacy is also included in Article 21 of our Indian Constitution. Then freedom of belief and religion, freedom of opinion, right of peaceful assembly and association, right to participate in government, right to social security, right to work, right to an adequate standard of living, then right to education, right to health, and right to food and housing. All these rights are enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. We note that all these rights also included in our Constitution as the fundamental rights, and that right can be protected and preserved and can be enforced in a court of law. Then the other two documents, international, and these three documents, including Universal Declaration of Human Rights and International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights, and International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. These three documents together known as the International Bill of Human Rights. These three documents enshrine the same value of human rights, and all these three documents are interconnected and establish the human rights. Then the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, it is established in 1948. Then after 1950, December 10, 1948, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights is implemented. Then after 1950, this day is treated as is observed as the United Nations Human Rights Day, observed as December 10th. Then another two documents are International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights and International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. All these documents is spelled out the basis of civil, political, economic, social and cultural rights. And these three rights, or these three documents together known as International Bill of Human Rights. Why these two other documents are created? Because Universal Declaration of Human Rights is established as a declaration. It is not a binding document. Then the state cannot, then is no compulsion to implement this document. It is only a declaration. Then it's a suggestions to do the state for protecting human rights. Then, but to get a legal recognition, these two covenants are created. In International Covenant on Economic, Social and Cultural Rights, it established the economic, social and cultural rights of the people. And also there is another covenant on International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. These International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights included the civil and political rights of human beings. So all these three documents are the international documents of human rights, and these three documents are known as International Bill of Human Rights, and these three documents are interconnected, and the content of these three documents are almost interconnected and same, because the International Covenant on Economic and Social Rights, it describes or it establishes a covenant on economic, social and cultural rights of the people, and civil and political rights covenant, it establishes the civil and political rights of the people. Then these two documents, along with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights includes the civil rights, political rights, economic rights, social rights and cultural rights. So these three documents are the International Bill of Human Rights. This classification, already I said, for classification of human rights is broadly classified into civil and political rights are first generation human rights. Then economic, social and cultural rights are the second generation of human rights. Then development oriented rights or collective rights. The all first two documents related to a particular individual or a citizen, but these development oriented human rights are collective rights that collectively, right to free environment is a collective right, right to peace is a collective right. So these are development oriented rights, and these three categories, and otherwise they are known as first generation human rights, second generation human rights and collective rights. The classification of human rights can be. Then what are the characteristics of human rights? We all aware about the human rights. Then the characteristics of it's universal, because human rights belong to all people. So it's not only to a state or a particular nation. It belongs to universal. Then it belongs to all people, and each one can have the right to get human right protection. So this is a universal right. Then it belongs to all people. Then it's inalienable rights. Inalienable rights means right cannot be taken away. This right cannot be taken away by the government or any organization or anybody cannot take away this right, because it is inalienable rights. These rights are get by birth itself. It continues till the death of the person. So it is inalienable rights. It cannot be taken away by other force or other government or any other things cannot be taken away, these rights. Then these rights are interconnected. Interconnected rights depend on one another. That's already I said that civil rights are there, the political rights are there, economic rights are there, cultural rights are there, then social rights are there. all these rights cannot be separated, or these rights are interconnected to each other. So human rights are interconnected. Then indivisible rights. Then rights cannot be treated in isolation, though that is indivisible. It is indivisible to all people. So it cannot be treated in isolation. It is indivisible rights. Then non-discriminatory. It should not be, the human rights should be respected without prejudice. That means it should be respected. It is non-discriminatory. It cannot be, it is not discrimination to any people. So discrimination is not in human rights. So it is not discriminatory rights. These are the main characteristics of human rights. It is universal in nature, inalienable, interconnected, indivisible, and non-discretionary rights. Then why these human rights are important? When we are coming to the theme of 2020 perspective, why these human rights are important? Then human rights reflect the minimum standard necessary for people to live with dignity. So it give a minimum standard, the protection of human rights give a minimum standard necessary for people to live with dignity. So to protect the dignity of the human being. So it's reflect a standard of living with dignity. Then give people the freedom to choose how they live, how they can express themselves, and what kind of government they want to support. Then they have the right choice to select, then to live, then to express, to all the ideas. Then all these, they have the right to freedom. So freedom of expression, freedom of thoughts are there that give people the freedom to choose how they live. They have the right to choose their live, or they have the right to take decisions. They have the right to make necessary steps for their livelihood. Then they guarantee people the means necessary to satisfy their basic needs, such as human rights. It guarantees right to food, right to education, right to livelihood. All these are guaranteed, or they are the basic needs of the human being. So they can take full advantage of all opportunities. They can take these opportunities. Then they have the right to get education. They can get education in any college or anywhere. They can be get education and get amenities, get food, or housing, education, etc. All these are guaranteed by the human rights. Then it's protect life, liberty, equality, and security of human beings. So life, liberty, and security of the human beings is protected as human rights. Then people against abuse by those who are more powerful. Then there is a discrimination between less powerful and more powerful. There is no discrimination on less powerful or more powerful. So it protects people against abuses. So all these helps the human being to live a better standard of living. So these human rights are very important rights. Then we are always said that human rights are to be protected, and who is responsible, or who is responsible to protect these rights? Is government is responsible, or other organizations are responsible? Under human rights treaties, government have the primary responsibility to protect and promote human rights. So government have the responsibility, primary responsibility to the government to protect and promote human rights. So it's a duty of the government to protect the human right of the people. So in UDHR, Universal Declaration of Human Rights states, every individual and every organs of society shall strive by teaching and education to promote respect for these rights and freedom, and by progressive measures, national and international, to secure their universal and effective recognition and observances. Then by these provision, it just means that not only the government, but also the civil society, the individuals are responsible for promoting and respecting human rights. So no, it's primary duty to the government to protect the human rights, and also we have the duty to protect the human rights. The civil society has the duty to protect human rights. The organizations have the duty to protect human rights, and the individuals have the duty to protect human rights. Then these duties, how they protect, the government should protect the human rights. It's a duty of the government to respect the human rights. Then to respect the create constitutional guarantees of human rights, then provide way for people who are suffering human rights violations by the government to seek legal remedies from domestic and international courts, then sign international human rights. It is then the government should respect the human rights. Then they should respect the human rights. They can create constitutional guarantees of human rights and it should be protected, and to seek legal remedies, available remedies for the violation of human rights, and to implement or sign international human rights treaties by the government. Respect, and the government has the duty to protect the human rights. Then the protect must private actors by violating human rights of others. So, for example, then prosecute perpetrators of human rights abuses such as crimes of domestic violences, then educate people about human rights and give awareness to their rights, then respecting human rights of, then give awareness to respect the human rights of others, then give education to them, then cooperate with international community in preventing and prosecuting crimes against humanity and other violations. So it is the duty of the government to protect the human rights and also fulfill the rights. Then must take positive actions to facilitate these rights, both to facilitate the enjoyment of human rights. So no person shall be deprived of his rights. Then everyone has the right to fulfill the right, the enjoyment of that rights. So it is the duty of the government to provide provide situations and provide necessary facilities to enjoyment of these rights, provide free, high quality education, then create public defender systems so that everyone has access to justice, then ensure everyone has access to food. All these should be provided, fulfilled by the government. So it is the duty of the government to provide and protect and respect, protect and fulfill the human rights, and should give respect to the people. Then we come to the what are the violations, human right violations. Then what is a human right violation? How it treated as a violation? The condition that denies the basic consideration that man is entitled is known as human right violation. If a person denies the basic considerations, then the basic amenities, basic needs of a people are denied, that is treated as human right violation. Then if a person has the right to freedom of opinion, freedom of religion, equal consideration, equal opportunity, equality before law, equal opportunity to employment, all these rights are there. If anybody engross these rights, it will amount to human right violation. Then merciless and cruel physical torture, then brutality and mental torture, then police atrocities, lockup murders, firing and inhuman treatment of prisoners, or all are human right violations. Then right to live with dignity, all people have the right to live with dignity, and it is established in our Constitution, Article 21, right to life with dignity and right life with health. Then and in field of health, education, livelihood, etc. When these rights are denied, it becomes denial of human rights. That means if anything that disrupts human life, liberty, equality, and dignity, the right to life, liberty, equality, and dignity, it will be considered as human right violation. I mean, if anything which hinders the right of a person, liberty of a person, equality of a person, or dignity of a person, it is termed as human right violation. And then violations of human right during lockdown. Then how this violation can be takes place? Then there are so many violations take place in lockdown. First, right to health. The government should take proper initiative for providing adequate health to the people. We know that in the case of the situation of COVID-19, so many people are deprived of right to proper medicine and right to health. So proper medical care should be given to people to prevent threat to public health. It will lead to the violation. If right to health is the fundamental human right of a people, then that right is violated in the for these lockdown situations. Then access to information, we can see that then the information from the press or from the government, all are not in a correct way. There must be accuracy in reopening the exact number of COVID-19 patients, or there is no accuracy. Then it will denial of the information. So it will lead to a human right violation. Then right to free movement. Then we are locked. Then over 1.3 billions are locked inside their homes in India. Then the authorities adopted the plan to win the battle against pandemic COVID-19. But people are stressing more than existence in lockdown rather than the disease itself. We already see the situation of migrant workers, how they are live in this situation or overcome this situation. Then this right to movement is a fundamental right. It is denied in these COVID-19 pandemic situations. Then right to privacy is denied. Then it leads to deepening of poverty. Poverty is deepened. So many people are suffering from poverty, and they cannot offer their livelihood, or they cannot live with the proper care, proper medicine, and proper food. Then it leads to inequalities, rising inequalities, and structural and entrenched discriminations. All these are the after effect of these lockdown situations, and we can see all these in our front. So these are the violations in COVID-19 pattern. Then what is our responsibility to settle these violations? What is our responsibilities? Then how our responsibility? We can see that the rights and responsibilities are the two sides of a coin. Then where there is a right, there is responsibilities. Then in our constitution, the fundamental rights and that included in the part 3rd of the constitution, it will give a numerous rights. Right to freedom, right to education, cultural rights, civil rights, political rights. All these rights are enshrined in the constitution, and also human rights are enshrined in the universal documents. Then along with that, then the constitution, Article 51A specifically states the duties, fundamental duties of a person. And also in Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 29 describes the responsibilities of the people to protect human rights. So we have the rights, and also we have the duties and responsibilities. So responsibilities and rights are then important as rights and freedom. So our responsibilities are very important. Then in the theme, coming to the theme of 2020, the recover better, stand up for human rights. Recover better. How? From where we recover better? From the pandemic, from the COVID, we have to recover better. So we will reach our common goal only if we are able to create equal opportunity to all. All these violations, we see that. Then we have to protect all these human rights by giving equal opportunities irrespective of caste, gender, or creed, and address the failure exposed and exploited by COVID-19. So it is our duty to address the COVID-19, how it is exploited. Then what are the failures? We have to analyze these failures and exploitations and fulfill these gaps by protecting the human rights and human rights standards to tackle systematic and intergenerational inequalities, exclusion, and discrimination. So it is an opportunity to refine the importance of human rights in rebuilding the world we want. We have to rebuild a new world after the COVID world. So the need for global solidarity as well as our interconnectedness and shared humanity is very much important, and we have to redraft or recreate a new world that is protect human rights in every aspect and avoid inequalities and systematic and avoid exclusions and discrimination is very important to recover a better world. So in our duty to 2020, the perspective of 2020 is that to build back a world that is better, more resilient, just and sustainable. So build back a world. We have to build a world that is better, more resilient, just and sustainable. A sustainable, a just society should be created by protecting human rights. Then, so for that, the human right must be the center of the post-COVID-19 world. Then it has been fueled by all the violations we already see. It is fueled by deepening poverty, rising inequalities, structural and entrenched discriminations, and other gaps in human rights protection. It should be filled by protecting human rights, and the human rights should be or must be at the center of the post-COVID-19 world. We have to recreate a world that is better, more resilient, just and sustainable. For that, only measures to close these gaps and advance human rights can ensure we fully recover and build back a world that is better, more resilient, just and sustainable. So we have to rebuild a world to protect human rights, avoid inequalities, and the human rights should be protected. All the human rights, irrespective of any discrimination, the human rights should be protected. For that, 4 steps are needed. First one, end discrimination. The first one is to protect a new world or to recreate a new world. End discrimination is very important. So structural discrimination is there, racism is there, then the COVID-19 crisis. To overcome this COVID-19 crisis, we should end discrimination. Then equality and non-discrimination are core requirements for post-COVID world. So it is our duty to recreate a new world or after COVID-19. Then equality and non-discrimination are the core requirements. So we have to end discrimination. Then second point is address inequalities. Already we said that. There is inequalities, there inequality between men and women, inequality between children and elders, inequality between people of having more income and less income, and so many inequalities between on the basis of creed, on the basis of racism, on the basis of color. All these inequalities are there. So to recover from the crisis, we must address the inequality. We must address the inequality. We cannot fully become equal, but we should address the inequalities. We need to promote for that. To address inequality, we need to promote and protect economic, social, and cultural rights. Economic rights should be protected, social rights should be protected, and cultural rights should be protected to address the inequality situation. Then encourage participation. Encourage participation. The participation, we have to encourage our participation. We have to work together. We have to join together in hand in hand. To everyone has the building a post-COVID world that is better for present and future generations. For better for the future generation, we have to join together. We have to hand in hand together. We all work together, not the duty of the government. It is not only the duty of the government, it is our duty. It is our society to join hand in hand to protect or to protect human rights and create a post-COVID world that is better for present and future generations. So we need to ensure the voices of most affected and vulnerable inform the recovery efforts. So we need to ensure the voices of most affected peoples, most affected persons. We have to address these peoples, the neglected ones, then the migrant workers and the COVID patients. All these, their voices are neglected, and we have to ensure the voices of the most affected and vulnerable in the form of in from the recovery efforts. So we have a speedy recover better, stand up for human rights. For that, we encourage participation and solidarity. We solidarity with the poor people, solidarity with the less important people, or solidarity with the partialized or marginalized people, so that we can join together, we can work together to create a new world. Then fourth one, promote sustainable development. Then sustainable development is very important. We need sustainable development of people and our planet. So sustainable development, we should preserve nature in its originality. We have the duty, we have the duty to protect our nature. We have the duty to protect our human rights, and also we have the duty to protect our nature, preserve nature in its originality. Then we should understand that all creatures of the universe have rights over natural resources, and it is our duty to preserve and protect them. Then we should understand that all the people have the rights. So also all the creatures in the universe have their own rights. For that, we have to protect the natural resources and to preserve the natural resources. So to promote sustainable development for a better recover and stand up for human rights. And then coming to the conclusion that the human right be protected in post-COVID-19 world. Then how it is protected? Well, we see that the protection of human rights. Then we have to solidarity with the people. We have to promote sustainable development. We have to encourage participation and solidarity. We have to address inequalities, and we have to end the discrimination. All these should promote the better live of post-COVID-19 world. So human rights must be protected. Then the COVID-19 crisis has been fueled by deepening poverty, rising inequalities, structural and entrenched discrimination, and other gaps in human rights protection. So there should be some gaps are there. We have to fill the gaps. It is our duty to fill the gaps and protect human rights. Then there should be a widespread awareness about the responsibility of human society in this regard. Then it's a responsibility not only to the members of parliament or not only to the judges, but also all sections of the society to participate in the protection of human rights. It's our duty. We think that it is my duty to protect the human rights. It is our duty to protect the human rights. So it is the responsibility, not only the government. The government is primarily responsible, but not only to the parliament or not only to the courts or judges. It is our, along with them, it is our duty to protect and preserve human rights. Then it's a duty of the citizens to awaken social consciousness against human rights violations. We should be prepared to join hands to work for that. Aware of the situation. We should aware, at least we should know what are the rights, what are the responsibilities, and how I can get these rights. Then what is my responsibility to do my co-fellows, I mean, to do to other people. So at least we know our duties and responsibilities of human rights. So it is duty of the citizen to aware about the social consciousness about human rights violations. Then we need to ensure that we fully recover. It is our affirmation that we fully recover and build back a world that is better, more resilient, just and sustainable. So it is our affirmation that we fully recover. We overcome these days. We overcome these pandemic, COVID-19 situations. We fully ensure, we fully recover and build back a world that is better, more resilient, just and sustainable. Thank you. Thank you all. If any queries, you can ask me.
Okay, madam. Really, it's very impressive and informative, madam, and it's really pressing to the audience. And there may occur so many queries since the subject is human rights. And may I request Mrs. Asha Jason, Assistant Professor of Computer Science, for conveying the queries. Over to you, Asha.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, we have got certain queries like to whom we have to give this human rights related complaints, or else to whom we have to approach.
Is we have to approach the courts. Then we have the remedial measures, we have laws, we have National Human Rights Commission, state human rights commissions, and especially human rights courts are there. And also we have approached the ordinary courts. We can approach the ordinary courts for getting redressal. We have any problem related to human rights, we can approach Human Rights Commission, or we can approach National Human Rights Commission, or we can approach human rights courts, and ordinary courts, we can approach the ordinary courts, and even police stations and women commissions, all such places we can approach for redressal. We can file complaints there.
One more question, ma'am. In which all languages can we put complaints?
We can complain in our language, in Malayalam and English and any other language. We can give complaints.
Okay, ma'am. What all informations RTI Act will provide us?
Right to information. Right to information. We have the right. It's also a human right. We have the right to get information. Then we can get any information from office relating to the quarries connected. We can approach. We can file an application to the concerned authorities. Then what we want, then we can approach by giving 10 rupees as court fee stamp for filing the application. Then we can get information within 30 days.
Ma'am, in this pandemic time, workers in various sectors are being exploited, especially in this salary cases. And what can we do about it, ma'am?
Then we can then all the sectors, already we said that all the sectors are exploited, especially the marginalized or especially the working class. Then government sectors are not fully exploited, but all other sectors, all the private sectors, then all people are having the same situation. So otherwise we can, the government instead that should not be the salary should not be cutted, but the private organizations, they cut short the salaries and all the amenities, and even the people become jobless. So it's our duty to join together for fighting these discriminations and inequalities. We can complain the necessary authorities.
Okay, ma'am. Next one is what? Will mental torturing? Yes, mental torturing is also coming under Article 14, right, ma'am? will mental torturing
Yes.
comes under human rights, or if
Yes,
something
yes.
had happened like that, where to complaint?
Then
To which
mental torturing
department?
is a violation of human right, mental torture, physical torture, or violation of human rights. If we can complain the necessary forums, we can complain to the police station, we can complain to the, we can file a case in the court. Then also we can file complaints, women commissions and Vanida cell and all. We can give complaints to that institutions. So mental torturing is a human right violation.
That's all regarding our queries, ma'am.
Okay,
Thank you.
Asha. Okay, madam. Once again, I thank you, madam, for patiently answering all the queries. Really, it's very informative and impressive, madam. And I think we can wind up. Okay. So I may request Mrs. Anita Matthew, Assistant Professor of Computer Science Department, for a formal vote of thanks. Over to you, Anita.
Honorable dignitaries, distinguished guests, and dear participants, on behalf of MES College Erumely, its entire fraternity and the organizing committee, I feel immense pleasure to take this opportunity to propose a vote of thanks to everyone contributed to the webinar. First of all, I express our sincere thanks to our eminent resource person, Dr. Jaisy Kaingattil, working as Assistant Professor, CSI College of Legal Studies, Kanakari, Kottayam, who spent the time from her busy schedule to drive this webinar, which is extremely relevant, address on human rights, today's perspective. She likely talked about all aspects of human rights, which we need to know, especially in this pandemic situation. Thank you, ma'am. I would further extend our hearty thanks to our principal, Mahin Sir, for his valuable support and guidance. I express sincere gratitude to our HOD, Mrs. Betty Joseph, for always encouraging us and providing opportunities to organize such events. I would further extend a hearty thanks to Mrs. Rema Devi, IQAC Vice Principal, for her immense advice and efforts to conduct this webinar. Now I express our thanks to Mr. Jitesh KS, Vice Principal Academic, who inspired us for conducting such events. IT cell under Mr. Sabjan Yusuf needs special mention for their sincere efforts. This webinar is the result of untiring effort of my colleagues and students, and I express my sincere thanks to them. My deep sense of appreciation and thanks to all the participants who chose to be live with us and attended the webinar to make it as a successful event. Once again, I thank you all for being with us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you from the family of MES, madam. And let's stand for the, okay, let's stand for the national anthem. Okay, we can leave.
ഞാൻ ആദ്യമായി കോളേജിൽ പോകുമ്പോൾ ഭാവിയെക്കുറിച്ചുള്ള ആശങ്ക പലതായിരുന്നു. എന്നാൽ സുന്ദരമായ ആ ക്യാമ്പസിലേക്ക് കയറി ചെല്ലുമ്പോൾ ഒരു ആത്മവിശ്വാസം എനിക്ക് ലഭിച്ചു. നല്ല സുഹൃത്തുക്കൾ, സംശയമകറ്റി വെളിച്ചം പകർന്നു തന്ന അധ്യാപകർ, പുതിയ ആശയങ്ങൾ നൽകിയ ലൈബ്രറി, ഏകാഗ്രതയും നല്ല ഓർമ്മകളും നൽകിയ ക്ലാസ് റൂമുകൾ, ഡിജിറ്റൽ ലോകത്തേക്ക് പറക്കാൻ പഠിപ്പിച്ച കമ്പ്യൂട്ടർ ലാബ്. അങ്ങനെ MES കോളേജ് എന്നെ ഉയരങ്ങളിലേക്ക് സ്വപ്നം കാണുവാൻ പഠിപ്പിച്ചു. ഇന്ന് ഞാൻ വളരെ ഹാപ്പിയാണ്. സ്വപ്നങ്ങളെ പിന്നിലാക്കി ഉയരങ്ങളിലേക്ക് ഞാൻ പറന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നു. യു ഹാവ് ടു ഡ്രീം ബിഫോർ യുവർ ഡ്രീംസ് ക്യാൻ കം ട്രൂ.
MES College Erumely, proposed PO Erumely, Kottayam, unaided arts and science college under the Muslim Educational Society, approved by Government of Kerala and affiliated to the Mahatma Gandhi University.